You know, while watching this show, it felt like a horrible tasting food, hidden behind an ungodly amount of salt just to hide the horrific taste of it. Echo. A show that has been showered with praises and accolades that are as genuine as a $3 bill. Yes, folks. Echo has been hailed as the next big thing by critics who seem to have a very unique taste in storytelling. It's been lauded for its innovative plot, compelling characters, and groundbreaking action sequences. If by innovative they mean predictable, by compelling they mean one-dimensional, and by groundbreaking they mean gravity-defying, then sure, they hit the nail right on the head. The spin-off nobody asked for from a Disney show that was already gathering dust in the forgotten corners of our streaming libraries. The series, plagued by rumors of reshoots and major subplots being unceremoniously amputated, is a masterclass in how to remove the core of storytelling and still call it a series. First, let's give you an idea of what this series is about. We're introduced to Maya Lopez, a deaf indigenous assassin who, after discovering her father was offed by her mentor, Wilson Fisk, also known as Kingpin, decides the best course of action is to shoot him in the face and run. Because, you know, that's how we handle conflict resolution these days. She then takes a trip back to her hometown of Tamaha, Oklahoma, where she tries to reconnect with her Native American roots. It's a touching subplot, really, if you can overlook the minor detail that she's also trying to dismantle the remnants of Kingpin's criminal empire. But hold on to your hats, folks, because the plot thickens. Kingpin, who apparently has the same healing factor as a starfish, survives the gunshot and tries to lure Maya back to New York by offering her a piece of his empire. Because who wouldn't jump at the chance to inherit a criminal empire? Am I right? The series reaches its peak at a Choctaw Nation powwow, which is infiltrated by the tracksuit mafia. Because nothing screams cultural celebration like a bunch of goons in matching outfits. Guided by signs from her ancestors, Maya prepares to face whatever comes next. We can only hope it's a better scriptwriter. The storytelling in Echo is, to put it mildly, a roller coaster ride of missed opportunities and baffling decisions. The series kicks off with a promising premise, a character grappling with her past, her identity, and a crime lord who just won't let go. However, it quickly descends into a mire of confusing plot twists and questionable character development. The series attempts to tackle some heavy themes, such as reconnecting with one's roots and dismantling a criminal empire. However, these themes are often overshadowed by the series' penchant for making reckless decisions without facing any consequences. It's a narrative choice that not only strains believability, but also robs the story of any real stakes or tension. Saying that the character's power in the comics is lame, and the decision to change the protagonist's powers from the comics is another puzzling choice. It's a move that not only alienates the fanbase, but also undermines the character's uniqueness and appeal. It's as if the writers were so eager to put their own stamp on the series that they forgot what made the character interesting in the first place. Echo was designed to literally be the yin to Daredevil's yang. A deaf woman whose heightened sense of sight gives her enhanced powers versus a blind man whose heightened sense of hearing gives him enhanced powers. How are the writers so dumb as to not understand that? If you are enjoying this review, make sure to give it a thumbs up. The series also fumbles in its handling of the supporting characters. The tracksuit mafia, for instance, is reduced to a bunch of goons in matching outfits, while Kingpin's miraculous recovery from a gunshot wound is hand-waved away with little explanation. It's these kinds of narrative shortcuts that make the storytelling feel rushed and underdeveloped. Let's talk about the main character of Echo, Maya Lopez. Maya is presented as a self-reliant girl boss who can somehow beat up men twice her size. While this could have been an empowering portrayal, it often comes across as unbelievable and forced. Her character makes reckless decisions like planting bombs without regard for collateral damage, yet she faces no real repercussions for her actions. This not only strains believability, but also robs her character of any real depth or growth. Moreover, Maya's character is a classic case of a protagonist who's more villain than hero. She brings death to her own family and others, yet never faces the consequences of her actions. It's a narrative choice that not only strains believability, but also makes it hard for the audience to empathize with her. Now about the acting. To put it mildly, it's a bit of a mixed bag. Starting with our main character, Maya, we've got an actor who seems to be in a constant battle with the physical demands of the role. The fight scenes, which should be thrilling and dynamic, often feel about as authentic as a unicorn in a corporate boardroom. It's clear that the stuntmen are pulling double duty here, doing most of the heavy lifting while our lead, well, tries her best. But the issues don't stop at the physicality of the role. Oh no, we've got a whole other can of worms when it comes to the emotional depth of the performance. It's like watching a robot trying to mimic human emotions. There's a distinct lack of changes in facial expressions. Now, let's talk about the supporting cast. You'd hope they might be able to pick up the slack, right? Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but the sidekick character is about as believable as a talking dog. His soft, cringe-inducing demeanor makes it hard for the audience to take him seriously. And the villains? They're about as menacing as a bunch of puppies. It's hard to feel any real sense of threat or tension when your antagonists couldn't scare a fly. Now, you'd think a series that's trying to mimic Daredevil would have some pretty impressive visuals and action sequences, right? Well, think again. Starting with the visuals, it's clear that the series has a serious love affair with CGI. And not the good kind. The overuse of CGI throughout the series often detracts from the overall visual experience. Instead of enhancing the storytelling, it often feels like a crutch that the series leans on too heavily. The result is a series that, visually, feels more like a video game cutscene than a high-budget show. As for the action sequences, they're about as convincing as a cat playing a piano. The fight scenes, which should be one of the highlights of a series like this, often feel forced and unconvincing. It's clear that the stunt doubles are doing most of the work here, which wouldn't be a problem if it wasn't so noticeable. Moreover, the choreography of the fight scenes often feels lackluster and uninspired. Instead of thrilling, edge-of-your-seat action, we're treated to sequences that feel as though they've been pulled from a low-budget action flick. One of the most glaring issues with Echo is its use of beloved characters from other shows as a means to elevate its own standing. It's like trying to use salt to mask the taste of a poorly cooked meal. It might work to some extent, but it can't hide the fact that the dish is fundamentally flawed. Take Kingpin and Daredevil, for example. These are characters with rich histories and complex personalities, characters that fans have grown to love and respect. In Echo, however, they're used as mere plot devices, their characters diluted, and their legacies tarnished in an attempt to prop up the series. In conclusion, Echo is a series that had all the ingredients to be great, but just couldn't quite put it all together. It's a stark reminder that good storytelling involves much more than just flashy visuals and big names. It requires compelling characters, engaging narratives, and authentic action sequences. Elements that, unfortunately, were sorely lacking in this series. Well, I don't know when Marvel will learn from their mistakes. Until then, we'll always have Daredevil. If you enjoyed this review, make sure to subscribe and ring the bell so you won't miss the next review.